So where we left off at, the last one was the third main section of the platform, and that was securing liberty.
Oh, wait. Got one call. You just go on, man.
What? I told you to leave your cell phone in the...
Hey, Leah. Yeah? Yeah, I can get some stuff in the store. I got you. Snorkel, glitter, cheese whip. Got it. Love you, Puddin'. Bye. Okay, let's do this thing.
What? What was that?
Did I tell you how to do your job?
As I was saying, we're in the last little bit here for the platform, and this one is 3.0, Securing Liberty, hashtag 3.0. And some of the things that it covers are national defense, international security, individual rights, international affairs, free trade, and migration. And I can almost read this one. Riots and discrimination.
Did you say immigration?
Did I say immigration?
I think you said immigration.
Cut. Immigration. Immigration. Hey.
Immigration.
If we ever do one on immigration, we should call it immigration. The first one I think is national defense. This is an issue that really gets a lot of, I want to say Republicans more than Democrats, but I think a lot of people in general. Maintenance of a sufficient military to defend the United States against aggression. The United States should both avoid entangling alliances and abandon its attempts to act as a policeman for the world. We oppose any form of compulsory national service.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd say the people in flux, especially lately, from mostly Republican Party to Libertarianism, that's the hardest one for them to let go of. It was for me.
Oh, I mean, me too.
I mean, as far as what was it Gandalf said, the way of the ring to my heart is pity for those too weak to defend themselves. The problem is that kind of power can almost never be used for good in the long run.
No. And that's one of the issues is like we have with too many wars right now is we're almost the aggressor in a lot of situations, and that's not what the Constitution provided right for the government. Their right is to defend the country, not fight wars of aggression. And that's what we have mostly right now.
And it seems like when the army is part of your economic plan, you've left the road of sanity, sir.
Eisenhower, who was a hawk himself, actually said that we should be wary of the military-industrial complex. And we now see how many, 50, 60 years later, right around, what that's become, and that's perpetual war.
It all came true.
Yeah, it was one of those things that he said, and it actually came true. And that's because I think he saw the writing on the wall with what happened after World War II. And so we would, as libertarians, we would like to stop that. And I think you said in the last video, we're not pacifists. We're not. But we're not aggressors either. There's no point to send someone off to war to fight someone else's battle.
And as far as all the scaremongering goes about, oh, we're going to have all kinds of terrorists pouring into the country, blah, blah, blah. Well, if that is true, just what in the name of Miley Cyrus are we doing spreading our military around the world? Let's get our soldiers in the U.S. if we're really that afraid. Those are two mutually exclusive propositions. You can't say, oh, we're being threatened from within, and then send all of our soldiers away.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. You want to hear my idea on my best way to describe intervention of military interventions?
Hey, lay it on me, man.
Okay, so you have a neighbor who has a wife, right? And that neighbor beats his wife. And you can't stand it anymore, so you hear them fighting. You go knock on his door, and as soon as he answers, you punch him in the face, right? And then you start beating him until he falls back into the kitchen where his wife is. And while you're beating him down, you kick the wife a couple times for good measure. And then you destroy all their plates and their kitchen. And to make sure that he doesn't hit her again, you stay in the kitchen with them. And as to kind of be a buffer in between those two. And then the kid who sees you in the kitchen and you're eating all this cereal gets a little mad, cereal being oil, gets a little mad, and he starts to say that he's fighting for the mom when he's not really fighting for the mom. He's fighting for his own interest, which is the food, the cereal you're eating. You're eating all this Captain Crunch. And so he becomes his own entity with his own weapons that you have given him to help protect the mom. And next thing you know, he's using those weapons against you because you've been eating his cereal.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Some of the other ones, internal security, individual rights, that's kind of been covered already, I think, a little bit. Internal affairs, that's, it's international internal affairs. This is a cop show. I swear to God I can read. I swear. International affairs, that's pretty much what we were talking about.
Bear with us, we almost got this.
Almost. So the next option is free trade and migration. Free trade is pretty important, I think. I mean, I know a lot of people have issues like, well, if there's free trade, then China will just keep producing the cheap stuff and sending it over here. Well, yeah, but then we can send our stuff over there. And if we would stop forcing businesses to pay a certain wage by the government, maybe the businesses could compete with China. I suppose that's a... I would imagine if you had a low enough corporate tax or a no corporate tax, that businesses would want to be here because it would end up being cheaper than sending everything to China, China making it, sending it back. Because if they're still making the same profit margin that they're making with the shipping everything to China, they're going to stay here or move back here. So I think that's one of the things we need to do is get rid of corporate tax. We're just going to go through the last couple bits real super fast.
Yeah, you gotta understand what we've been doing here is an extremely truncated version of the platform. We're just trying to hit the highlights. I mean, as far as, wanting to see the thing in its entirety, just go to lp.org. The platform's all there, and then you can see how well that matches up with your beliefs if you're not a libertarian already, and make your judgments from there.
Yeah, and if that's the case, go to isidewith.com and take the little quiz. It doesn't take very long. It's a great way to see what candidate you're more aligned with politically. I think you'd be really surprised. Free trade and migration. Migration is kind of interesting because libertarians tend to... We actually think that almost like borderless countries, a lot of libertarians think that. And I'm not real big with that, but I'm also not totally against it.
That's almost a 50-50 split right there from the people I've been talking to about just how open borders should be, and yeah, without opening that big can of worms, I'll just say that's probably one of the ones we're most divided on.
If you guys want, if there's a subject on here that you want to hear more of,
comment, yo.
Comments. Lots of comments. Love comments.
We will
Love
get
subscribes.
we'll get to everything you request, I promise.
Yes. We've shot 3 videos in one day. We'll do 100 a day. We don't care. This is fun for us. We're enjoying this.
We are the bionic nerds.
Nerds. There is one thing we do want to point out that the platform put in here, which we think is very, very interesting. It's 4.0 emissions, hashtag 4.0. I'm going to read it and then we can talk about it. Our silence about any other particular government law regulation, ordinance, directive, edict, control, regulatory agency, activity, or machination should not be construed to imply approval.
I'm
Drops the mic.
so glad that is in there, because you just know if there is one little thing that's going on right now, or that they just invent out of the blue tomorrow that we don't have an official stance on, they're going to say, oh, you can be a libertarian and support this ridiculous law.
I mean,
when I think of all the people I have met through Facebook especially, who we disagree fairly often, but man, we got so much love for each other. It's never a big thing with me. I don't get mad when people disagree. I like a good debate.
A healthy debate is like actually helps you define your beliefs and your principles when you're talking to the person. So like you have your belief, but when you're actually debating it and discussing it, it helps prop it up because you kind of can defend it.
And there's certain things that come up, like I didn't know what I thought about this until I started typing, you know?
Like, that's what I believe, oh my god. So, yeah.
So I like disagreements, I really do.
Yeah,
and anyone I've disagreed with out there, you know, who wasn't a jerk about it, I love you guys.
Right. Well, that's our episode. We'll remind you to subscribe, comment, like the video, share the video as much as possible. Share the videos. There's, what, 3 of them now? 4 total. If you live in the Rock County area in Wisconsin, join the Rock County Libertarian page on Facebook. We'd love to see you at the meetings. Have a nice night. Give us some views, give us some shares. Have a great night.
See ya.